Hey Capstone group, today I'm going to show you how to use Femap to do our analysis on our wing. I'm going to use the tips bar for this one. I already did a few, so right now I'm just going to create a new folder and I'm going to do the tips bar for you guys. So I have a new folder created. I'm going to dump all of the data into that folder just for organization. So now I'm going to open up Dropbox. Most of you guys seen my folder, and I'm going to go to Rev 2. I'm going to open up airfoil prototype Rev 2, and I'm going to steal some of this geometry for our analysis. So for our tips bar, that's going to be this geometry right here. So what I'm going to do is highlight all this. We don't want this, we're not concerned about the punch out, but I'm just going to copy, create a new drawing. I'm just going to select the default, open this up, and I'm going to paste that right in here. You guys can also use SolidWorks to do this, it's up to you. I'm going to put it right on the origin. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this as a DXF. I'm going to put that right on the desktop as tips bar. So I'm going to close out of AutoCAD. Do you want to save changes? No. Do I want to save changes? No. Click out of there. Now I'm going to open up Femap. So right when you open it, first thing you want to do is define your materials. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to do carbon fiber. It's going to be 1015. 4 zeros. And then 0.1. So that's the carbon fiber. Balsa wood. That's going to be 100,000 and 0.1. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is right where it says layups, I'm going to create a new layup, and this is where we define our layup to use with our planar laminated element. So right now I'm going to create the first one. I'm going to call this one, well, there's only one in the tips bar, so I'm just going to call this one material or composite. And the first thing I'm going to do is one side, let's say we have balsa wood that are laminated on both sides with carbon fiber. The first layer is going to be carbon fiber, and the thickness is going to be 5 thousandths, and the angle is going to be 0. So we're going to create that ply, and then now we're going to use balsa wood, and that's 1/8 of an inch. That's also 0, and we're going to go back to carbon fiber at 5 thousandths. So there's our composite material right here. I'm going to click OK, click cancel, and there's our composite right there. Next thing I'm going to do is save this as, I'm going to go to our tips bar, and I'm just going to call this tips bar. Save it. So now the model's saved. Now I can start building. So what I'm going to do here is import geometry, and I'm going to select the tips bar that we saved previously from AutoCAD. You can also use SolidWorks if you'd like. Doesn't matter to me. There it is. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a surface boundary from this geometry. So I'm going to go to Geometry, I'm going to go to Surface, Boundary Surface, and then select From Curves. Select all the curves. click OK. Now we have that surface, click cancel. Now what we can do with this surface is we can mesh it right away when we're ready. But for right now, I'm going to create a property to give that surface. So I'm going to click on Properties, New, and I'm going to call this, I'll just call it Composite. And if I go to Element Property Type and I select Laminate under Plane Elements, I can select the composite that we created in Layup. I'm just going to click OK. And I'm going to click Cancel. And there it is right there. We have a property with our composite material, the balsa carbon fiber. And now what I'm going to do is go to Mesh, Geometry, Surface, and select the boundary surface that we created. The property is going to be Composite. Click OK. And there it is. The next thing is I'm going to apply loads and constraints. New load. I'll call this one Loads. And create a new constraints. Now we're ready to start applying our boundary conditions. I'm going to hit Nodal. We're going to be fixed here. You guys can do whatever you like, doesn't matter to me. Now we have the fixed end. Go back to Loads, Nodal, to here. So if you want to put 10 pounds at the tip, you can select two nodes, force, up in the Y 5 pounds. This will be the tip load. So I think we're now about ready. Analysis, Manage, New. We'll call this one Tips Bar. And the school computers have Abacus, so I'm just going to use Abacus. Export. Right in Tips Bar, I'm just going to type in Tips Bar. Here's our input file. And now what I'm going to do is open up Abacus command. I'm going to go to the directory. And Abacus, enter, J equals tips bar. Just going to run that. I can minimize that. And I can open it. Export analysis, import analysis results. Abacus, OK. Select tips bar. Click OK. And there it is. I can create some pretty colors. And note that this is not the actual view. If you want the actual view, click this arrow, go to actual view, and it'll display the actual view. Another thing you can do is go to view up here, go to options, and for those elements you can go to element orientation shape, click the cross section, click apply, click OK, and you might be able to see it. There it is.